What's up guys, SkittleRampage here. So today I'm going to be answering 5 commonly asked Funko Pop questions. So let's check it out. Hey guys, welcome back to another video. I hope you're enjoying your day. So today we're going to be doing something a little bit different, and I'm going to be answering 5 questions that you guys are commonly asking either me or just in the community in general. Though before we get started, we do have our question of the day, and that is, name a Funko Pop in your collection that's wearing a dress, and I'm going to go with Rize from Tokyo Ghoul. Alright, so jumping into question number 1, that is, what do the numbers on Funko Pop boxes mean? And the numbers meaning this number right here. Now this actually has a more simple answer than you thought, and that is the number right here just means that it is that number in that specific set. So for example, this Goku is number 24 in the animation line. And here's a couple more examples of the number 24 Funko Pops in other sets, like Icons is Marilyn Monroe, Seth Rollins for WWE, and Big Boy for the Ad Icons line. Now one more example for you, we have number 25, which is Kratos, part of the Pop Games line. And other number 25s in other categories include SpongeBob for television, Hannibal for movies, and Michael Jackson for Pop Rocks. Now you're probably thinking to yourself 2 follow-up questions. One being, there are multiple Goku Funko Pops, so why don't they all have the same number? And the second question being, some Goku Funko Pops have the same mold, so why don't they have the same number? So to answer that first question, take a look at these 3 Goku Funko Pops. What do they all have in common outside of their name being Goku, of course? Absolutely nothing. They are all completely different molds, so they're getting completely different numbers. Most of the time, the number will be assigned to that specific mold. Though that does jump us into answering the second question. In some cases, we will get the same mold, but with different numbers. And as you can see with these 4 Goku Pops, we have Super Saiyan Goku the Common, number 14, the Entertainment Earth exclusive glow-in-the-dark, number 14, the Super Saiyan God Red, number 24, and the regular Goku number 9 over at Hot Topic. Now basically what's happening here is that they want to recycle the mold and reuse it, and at the same time, they're making them into exclusives, so they're giving them specific numbers because they're exclusives to a certain company. Now, hopefully that gives you some insight on Funko Pop numbers on the boxes. If I missed anything, feel free to educate us down below. Moving on to question number 2, how does a Funko Pop gain value? So there are actually many ways that a Funko Pop can gain value. Probably the easiest way is if a Funko Pop is very limited. What I mean by that is, take for example, you have a Funko Pop that's limited to only 100 pieces in the world. And that means only 100 people can own that Funko Pop. But what if 1,000 people want that Funko Pop? Then it drives up the price because the demand is higher than the supply. Now, kind of similar to limited Funko Pops is when a Funko Pop is suddenly vaulted. And what vaulted means is that they are no longer producing them, meaning that no more stock is coming and what's out there is what's left. And we can use Green Gel from Bleach as an example here. This was about a $50 Funko Pop, but once it was suddenly vaulted and Entertainment Earth canceled all the orders saying no more stock was coming, this shot up to $200 plus. So again, another supply and demand situation. Another thing that can drive up a Funko Pop's value is like world events, movie events, TV show events, basically whatever's happening with that specific character or person at any given time. For example, if a very popular celebrity were to pass away, you most likely have your people that are going to scalp that, thus driving up the price of that pop. Like Kobe Bryant, for example, unfortunately. Now, one more example of something that can raise up a Funko Pop's value is the Last of Us TV show. The Last of Us games are a very beloved franchise, and once HBO announced that they were doing a TV show, and we got more teasers and first looks, and then finally the show came out, these 2 Pops specifically, Ellie and Joel, absolutely skyrocketed because everybody wanted the characters because they were really enjoying the show. And this is another situation with supply and demand where you get all these new fans joining this fandom and all these fans want these same Funko Pops, but there's not enough supply. Moving on to question number 3, should you take your Funko Pops out of box? Now for this one, we're gonna go on a little bit of a field trip with the camera. So let me use some of my Marvel and DC Pops as an example. So over here, I have a lot of my Spider-Man out of box. And then over here, I actually have a lot of Funko Pops also in the box. Now my advice and answer for you on this question is honestly to do whatever you enjoy. If you want to take your Funko Pops out of box, go for it. If you want to keep them in box, go for it. I will say though, if you take your Funko Pops out of box and attempt to display them like I am or other people's collections, it does take up a lot more space because you can't stack boxes, you can't put boxes behind each other if you're trying to display them out of box like this. So it's definitely not the move to make if you have a limited space. But if you have a bunch of space, then I say go for it. Now another example I can give you is out of box, you can see a lot of the details of the figure. You can see behind it, you can see close-up details. but in the box, you can't really see as much details. You have to kind of look at it from multiple different angles. So that's kind of the takeaway from keeping your Funko Pops in box. You miss a lot of different details. Oh, and probably something I should mention, especially with collecting out of box, is the fact that you have to deal with constant dust. Your figure is getting constantly dirty. You have to dust very often. Now, as you can see, I am a person that does not dust that often. I really should do it more, but it builds up like crazy. Now, one more thing that not a lot of people care about, but I figured it's worth mentioning, is the fact that when you're opening your Funko Pops, you also run the risk of maybe possibly damaging the Pops if you don't do it right, and it will lower the value a little bit if you damage that box. At the end of the day, I could go back and forth on multiple different factors of collecting in box or out of box, but it is your preference at the end of the day. On to question number 4. How do you spot a fake Funko Pop? So some quick information I can give you guys is that I have created multiple different reviews on various different Funko Pops on the channel. And if you guys want to check those out, just search real versus fake Funko Pop. I give all kinds of different tips in those videos, but I'll give you a couple here as well. Let's take both of these Ichigos for example. The one with the red sticker is the real one. The one with no sticker is the fake one. And just to clarify something, even if your Ichigo doesn't have this red sticker, that doesn't mean it's fake. The red sticker is just a pre-release. So when you have a fake Funko Pop, just some quick things you can look for is like the white border right here will be a lot thicker on the fakes. You also have some darker colors compared to the original box. Sometimes the fonts will be a little off as well. Now here's both of them out of box. Again, you will notice little slight color differences sometimes in the skin tones, in the hair. Even the little details on their clothing or weapons, if they have one, will be slightly different or sometimes very different. Now those were just a couple tips on how you can spot a fake Funko Pop just from looking at it. Other tips are, if you notice on eBay, you see like a $500 Funko Pop going for $35, especially from China. That is something you want to automatically avoid. That is most likely 100 times out of 100 times fake. Another tip I can give you guys is to maybe just join a community, whether it's Reddit or Facebook groups, and ask the community if you are fully unsure. There's plenty of collectors out there, plenty of creators that are willing to help you guys out. Now on to our final question, number 5. How do you open a Funko Pop box without damaging it? Now, Kano is going to be our test dummy today. Now, there are a few different ways that you can open a Funko Pop, and I will show you them, but the way I do it is I either open them from the top or bottom, and I just turn it to the side, I grab the top lip right here, and I pull back and then pop it out. Though that method doesn't exactly work for everybody, unless you do it right, you could run the risk of ripping or damaging it. Now another method is the card method, where you take like a credit card or some kind of random card, and you turn your Funko Pop to the side, you put it in there, you slide it over, and then pop it open, which obviously I applied way too much force, but you guys get the point. Now you can also use other items like a butter knife, for example. Same method, you just put it in there, and pop it open. Now I actually made a short talking about how to open up a Funko Pop box, and I had a lot of people cringing because I was opening it from the top. It really doesn't matter personally to me because I can open it through this method on the top or bottom. She's also damaged, if you guys are wondering why I'm being so aggressive with her. She's damaged, so that's why I'm, using her as a test dummy. But essentially you can open it from the top or bottom, but it does seem like a lot of people prefer the bottom because you don't really look at the bottom just in case you damage it. Alright guys, so those were 5 commonly asked Funko Pop questions answered for you today. If you guys want to see another video like this where I answer a couple more questions, drop a comment down below of a question you have, as well as leave a like on this video. Now I did have a lot of fun recording this video, but it's time to end it by saying a big shout out to all the amazing Patreon supporters of the channel. You guys absolutely rock for supporting myself and the channel. If you guys are curious and want to check out the Patreon, the link is down below. We have a Patreon only Discord where we share a lot of information, news, restocks, updates, links, and more, and it's a happy, fun little community that I would love to have you in. We also have a Facebook group with over 17,000 members that's buy, sell, and trade, and make sure to follow me on all my social medias at SkittleRampage over on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, and my Facebook page so you can stay up to date. Alright, love you guys. See you guys in the next one. See you guys later. Bye.